Welcome back. In this demonstration, we are going to start a 3/4 view of a manga portrait. In the last sessions, we talked about making a front view manga portrait similar to this one, and in this lesson, we're going to start a 3/4 view. Just like in our previous lessons, we talked a lot about line, we talked about shape, and of course, we talked about proportion. Proportion is how one thing relates to another, whether it's the size, place, or shape and space of the objects or line. Now, in this portrait, the idea is we're looking at a 3/4 view, meaning the head is turned a little bit. So this eye has to be smaller than this one. The space in between is just a little bit smaller, and of course the nose and the mouth are off center. But again, the same proportions kind of ring true, whether it's 3/4 or straight on. Okay, here is kind of the pencil outline of what we'll end up with when we're done. And here's the inked version, and you can kind of see the original circle, the jawline, and how the eyes fit into our place. Okay, so getting started, you're going to want to use, this is an 11 by 15 sheet of paper. If you're at home, you're using whatever you've got. Doesn't matter the size. I'm putting my name on the back. If you're in class, you should put your name on the back so we know who it belongs to. Put your grade number and your section. Let's pretend this is 5B. Okay, then flip your paper over. Remember, if you've watched the other video already, we're going to be dividing our circle into fourths, or the bottom portion of our circle into fourths. So since I'm in Vietnam now and we want to use the metric system, I'm going to divide my my circle into 8. So I'm going to get out my ruler. I'm going to put 0 to 8 centimeters, so I know that's going to divide evenly into fourths later. Then I'm going to choose a central part for my circle, and I'm just going to mark it a little bit right there so I can keep track of it. All right, and then getting started, I'm going to put my compass right down into that spot. Okay, and then having my compass kind of on the edge here, I'm going to circle around to get that circle complete. Set my compass aside, and now I'm going to throw in my first guideline, which is my horizontal line. So making sure that our ruler is perpendicular with the edge of the paper here, you're going to draw that horizontal line at the halfway point. Okay, then I'm going to divide the bottom portion here into fourths. Okay, so I'm going to take halfway, which is 4 centimeters, a quarter, which is 2 centimeters, and 3/4, which is 6 centimeters. And I'm going to put those horizontal lines in. Okay, always making sure that my ruler is perpendicular with the edge of my paper, the right and the left edge, and parallel with the top and bottom, so that those guidelines get in very evenly. Now, in the directions that I've learned from, it doesn't say to put in the vertical line for a 3/4 portrait, but just for the demonstration purposes so we can see where things line up, I am going to put in a vertical guideline through the center, just so we have that kind of similar to where we left off. Okay, now I have my 4 lines drawn in, and I'm going to put on the jaw. One thing I'd like you to notice about the jaw is, depending on which way you have your face turned, you're going to see a little bit more of the angle, like right here, on the way that is turned away from you. Whereas the one that's turned towards you is going to be a gentler curve. All right, so in getting started, you're going to want to get your jaw kind of off, just a little bit off center. If we go back to this picture, you can kind of see how if this is my center line, my jaw's twisted and just a little bit off center. Okay, so whichever way you want it turned, obviously. I'm going to turn mine here, and again, we're going to follow the same kind of one from our other drawing. The distance for your jaw from this circle should be about the same as halfway. So it's going to be about that far down. Okay, now this jaw, sorry, I want it right there. It's just a little off center, and it's going to start at the 3rd line up, and this like slightly curved jawline is going to come down just beyond this circle. Then we're going to angle this down here and have just an ever so gently curved line down to the corner of the jaw. Then we want to have one continuous line that's going to come about halfway here between these two lines and kind of curve out and up. Okay, and you want it to be a gentle curve. You can see how I'm just kind of getting that to the right place, and then I'm going to go back with my eraser and just clean that up a bit. Actually, it's much easier for me if I turn my paper here. If you have to do that while you're working, turning your paper, that's fine. Okay, now the last guideline that we're going to put in is from our brow line here down to our chin. And this is going to give you like the feel of the curvature of the face as it's curving. So you want to start here and you want it to curve gently up, something like that. And that's just going to give that curve. It's going to let you know where your nose is going to be placed and where your eyes are going to be placed. So you can see that curve is going to be the edge of our eye, the tip of our nose, and the edge of our mouth. Okay? Once you have those guidelines in, you're ready to start with the facial features. So that concludes our guidelines for our 3/4 manga portrait.